Welcome to the Daily Grind, a Bluff City Media daily podcast. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Luke Hatmaker. Grab your favorite morning brew and let's get to the show.
Soldier boy up in that toe. Welcome to the Daily Grind. I am the host, Luke Hatmaker. Sorry. I couldn't. I'm your host, Luke Hatmaker. This is the Daily Grind, and it is Wednesday, and we're going 3 wide. I got the $2 of the $2 Sports Show with me. How we doing, fellas? Uncle Buck, how are you? I haven't seen you since. No, I've seen you since your vacay.
Yeah, Friday. I'm good. It's hot. My whole family has vacated the house. It's been very weird and strange and eerie around here, but it's great. I slept so good last night. So yeah, I'm good.
How about you, Rusty?
Yeah, I'm good. I wish I slept better last night. I got arrested last night. I was trying to go to sleep, and I just couldn't get comfortable and go to sleep, and the police showed up and took me into custody for resisting arrest. Welcome to the Daily Grind.
You get it, Uncle Buck? Arrested.
I wish he was actually arrested.
You're like, I wish he was in jail.
Time in jail would probably get that out of your system.
It might, but I am good. All things considered, I crashed out for a bit last night. I told Maggie I was going to recommend singing "In the Arms of the Angel" by Sarah McLachlan when we came on today, but I've come around. We'll talk about that here in a minute.
Well, we can still do that.
Yeah, do you want to just
what
time is it? We just sing that for 28 minutes. Two.
I don't know why we're going at that rhythm.
Yeah, why are we doing it like a doo-wop song?
Yeah, we were all upbeat for a terrible song.
Dibbly doo. Goodness gracious. Let's just jump right into it. There was a little bit I don't know. You want to talk about Erie? There was some turf toe news yesterday. You know, we are not allowed to have any sort of good things for longer than a little bit here, because it was announced yesterday, Memphis Grizzlies PR, because they can't let us have anything nice while participating in a live basketball run off-site. What is that? Jackson Jr. sustained a turf toe injury in his right foot, which upon expert evaluation yesterday was determined to require a procedure to repair. Rusty, what is turf toe? And why is it attacking Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Yeah, as a kid, I thought it was just like somebody's being a patsy, right? They don't want to play because their toe hurts and whatever. But actually, it's a lot worse than that. And so what you can see here on your screen, it is an actual tearing of some of the, ligaments, muscles, tendons that run underneath that first big toe. It's where your big toe connects to your foot. It's a it's like a phalangeal metatarsal joint. We won't get into it. MTP is what it's called. And what happens is if you run a lot or you go to push off, that repetitive push off, creating this what's called dorsiflexion or flexion of the toes, bringing those toes up can stress the tendon that runs underneath it, tearing the joint capsule, tearing the ligament that's under there. There's different grades to it. If he's having surgery, that's a pretty high grade. And some people were coming at me last night on Twitter saying, oh, is a procedure different than surgery? No, they're going in, they're repairing the damage that was done. It's probably going to be 3 months. If it's 3 months, guys, it's July. That puts him back in basketball activity sometime in October, hopefully playing by November. Worst case scenario, it could be up to 6 months of recovery. Jaren's recovered quickly from ankle injuries and foot surgeries in the past. He's bounced back pretty quick. So I'm choosing optimism here. Yes, it looks gnarly on our screen. It looks bad, but I'm going to choose optimism and say that they're going to go to do a procedure. They're going to repair and anchor either the ligament that tore or the muscle tendon that runs underneath there. And he's going to be back sooner than later. So I'm choosing optimism as a PT. These things can heal really well. He's also 25. He's not, 38 like your boy here and old. But I am anticipating a November timeline of him returning to basketball.
I mean, it's like, I get optimism, but it's like he's never been through a Memphis Grizzly injury before. It will take the maximum amount of time possible.
I get it, man. Listen, like my initial report last night was, I have no words. This is nightmare fuel. Like, that's what went through my mind at first, because it can be. I mean, it can. And it has ended, like, I hate to be this guy, but it has ended careers. There have been countless football players who have had their careers ended by turf toe. So if you want to go that route, we can. But I'm going to choose optimism and say it's going to be 3 or 4 months before he's back playing. Zach Edey's probably on a December timeline. I'm going to say Jaren's on a November timeline. You heard it here first. Ask Dr. Buckets. I'm speaking it into existence that Jaren is playing basketball by Thanksgiving.
God, I hope so.
Thanksgiving. You just said October, and it's like by Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, that's November. Like
It's the
by
end of November.
That's still 4 months. I'm
The
trying to be realist there. I'm trying to be real there.
I mean, look, we're talking about what was he had his ankle injury. When did he have a similar ankle injury that in summer? Was it the defensive player of the year
Was it
season?
like or right before 21 or 22 where he had that foot surgery?
I mean,
23, 24.
we know that he is. It's like you said, Rusty. He is not a old guy like us. You know, ideally he will be able to bounce back a little bit quicker. It's just disappointing. You're like coming right off the heels of this $240 million max extension. It's like this is the last bit of news. When I got this Memphis Grizzlies PR update, I thought we signed somebody else yesterday.
Yeah. I thought it was our release where we had released Cole Anthony. That's exactly what I expected, that we had waived and stretched Cole Anthony. But then I got a notification from Chris Ingram on the No Bluffing show that said, #Ask Dr. Buckets, tell me it's not 3 to 6 months. And I was like, oh, I probably need to check what that notification is then.
God,
Yeah.
I hate it.
It stinks. I want to know when it happened because I'm going to say it's at least very, very probable that it didn't happen yesterday, which means it happened before the contract was signed.
That's not going to impact his contract.
No, I'm not saying it does, but it is interesting because it was like when it came out. Because if you've got doctors' opinions and whatnot and you land on surgery, it means you signed the contract or you're agreed upon the contract. The contract news came out while you were injured, but the injury news didn't come out until after the contract news came out, which is fine. I don't care. But it's just posturing. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get that money regardless whether he's got 1 foot or 2 foot or whatever's going on, and he deserved it.
He could have a Deion Sanders foot, and he should still sign the contract. I mean,
it just stinks because this is like we just can't have nice things. Like we have a great Monday. Monday was an awesome day if you're a Grizzlies fan, unless you're a nerd. It was an awesome day. Signed Jaren, signed Santi, Ty Jerome, like Cam Spencer. We got a dog. Everything was going really well. And then Tuesday, it's just like we can't have anything nice. It's like the old meme, right? Where it's like the guy that's all crumpled down and it's like, God, why are you giving me your hardest battles? And he's got a Grizzlies hat on and it's God on the other side. And it's like, how are you still alive? That's us.
Yeah, God. This puts the Grizzlies in an interesting situation because I feel like they've got more moves to make now. I mean, like, I feel like we were all just kind of assuming that there were more moves to make, but now it's like we need to address our front court, I would imagine, now more than ever. I mean, we've got Edie and we've got Jaren both out. And is Brandon Clark going to be ready? Like,
yeah, Brandon Clark is on track to start. So your centers are going to be Brandon Clark and Jay Huff and Santi in the case of emergency. Like that is nightmare. That's nightmare fuel. Like we got to get somebody.
Yes. What do you think they do? I mean, because we talked yesterday off air. There's been reports that the Grizzlies aren't done yet. That and the likely spot that seems to be improved upon is the center spot. Do you guys, Uncle Buck, I'll start with you. Do you see them going and trading for somebody, signing somebody? I mean, like, what do you think they do at this point?
I mean, yeah, I thought going into this, it was like a 50-50 shot. You either just stand pat and let Jaren fill in 5 and, you know, Santi and whatever. You patchwork your 5 until Edie gets back and he locks down the starting role. Now I think you've got to, because, yes, Brandon Clark should be healthy, but he finished last season hurt. He's been through most of the summer hurt. He'll be ready, but how much is he in game shape ready? And then outside of him, you're talking about Santi minutes at the 5, which has always been pretty dreadful, and Jay Huff, which if he makes his first 3, then he's playable. So I think you've got to have somebody there. Who you go after, I don't know. Obviously the Orlando guys are there, you know, Gogo Badazzi, Jonathan Isaac, and they're looking to get underneath the cap. Can you figure out something to maybe expand that Desmond Bain trade, or do you look elsewhere? I've been on record saying that a big lug center is one of the more easier things to find. They're a dime a dozen, and you're not looking at a top 5% athlete there. It's not like a wing. Like nobody's getting off wings. you can find a center somewhere that can be serviceable. But, Dodson, who has become, I guess, a Bluff City media consultant at this point, was like, he talked about, the Grizzlies were going bigger game shopping. So I don't really know what you got out there, but I don't think you have any choice but to go get somebody.
Yeah.
And here's the problem with that. I agree, but we've lost all of our leverage, right? Because we are now in a bind, and teams that are in a bind are not going to get a friendly deal. You're not going to be able to move John Conchar and GG and some picks and get a Walker Kessler or something like that. Unfortunately, it's a business world. You got a captive audience here. It's going to cost some more picks. And this is just how it goes. We do something really well, and then we get snake bit because apparently FedEx Forum is built on some ancient Indian burial ground or cursed land or something. And so now I agree, we've got to go get somebody, but what is it going to cost at this point, right? We've been trying to move Cole Anthony. Nobody wants that. Well, now what are people going to pick off in order to make this trade happen? That's what makes me nervous. There is something out there. There are going to be some guys. I mean, again, like I said, I think I said on the show the other day, Bismack Biyombo's out there. We're get that desperate. But
Larry Nance Jr. I mean, I've been preaching for Larry Nance Jr. on the vet minimum, screaming.
I've seen a trade where we go get both John Collins and Walker Kessler. I don't know if I love that. Gogo Badazzi is fine. Jonathan Isaac, fine. Larry Nance Jr. would be a great option because you can get him on a vet minimum, and that's what we're going to need.
Well, he just
resigned around it.
Did he?
Yeah, he went back to Cleveland. Or
God,
Atlanta.
Cleveland or Atlanta?
He was in Atlanta.
Damn it. Well,
Yeah.
Ignore the last 15-second segment I just did.
But that's just kind of my point, though. It's like, is Bismack Biyombo good? No. But when we needed somebody, we came in and got him, and he rebounded, he set some screens, and as long as you didn't throw the ball to him, like, he looked as if he could play a little basketball.
So some of the names that are still available as a free agent per Sport Track, and this is pretty updated. Mo Wagner, Al Hortford, DeAndre Jordan, Taj Gibson, Tristan Thompson, Thomas Bryant, Jackson Hayes, Charles Bassey, Alex Lynn, Bismack Biyombo, and Micah Potter are all the unrestricted free agents that you could probably get fairly cheap.
Thomas Bryant.
We just saw Thomas Bryant in the finals. Yeah. Why is Thomas? I mean, that's weird. Like,
well, it's
his rookie deal.
Is it weird?
He's been like not a good basketball player for his whole career.
And he's coming off of his rookie deal to where now he's like in between like that first extension.
Yeah. Oh man, Thomas Bryant. That's where we're at.
He just had a very team friendly deal. He's not coming off his rookie deal. It was just like he was only making like $2.8 million last year. So like you can get him probably.
Yeah, because he's stunk most of his career. And then he found out how to hit a corner three, and it was like, oh, maybe.
I mean, this is an option as well. Do we just give Bagley a vet man and bring him back? Like there are options out there. None of them are great. None of them are sexy. None of them are going to be like fixing everything. Obviously trading for Jared Allen would be probably the best move that we could do, but it's just not like we don't have the cap room. We're not going to do that. I don't know. It's going to be a Band-Aid. It's got to be a cheap one, and I don't love that.
It's a really. Were you going to say something, Uncle Buck?
No, I wasn't. But you've also got a roster crunch because you've got 16 players on your roster.
Yeah.
Cole Anthony will, for one way or the other, be off of this roster soon. So that gives you 15. So you've got to send some folks out. So it can't be just a straight free agent signing without attaching someone in a trade, 1-for-nothing trade or a 2-for-1 trade or just a cutting,
Which, I mean, speaking of that, we should also note the word was making the rounds yesterday that Tariq Baberovic might be signing with the Grizzlies soon too. And that's even like, we got to send some guys out. And if you want to repair, I mean, I don't know. We went from having like the best. I mean, when Monday free agency started, it was like Grizzlies notification, Grizzlies notification, Grizzlies notification, Grizzlies notification. And then it was like, we had a moment to breathe and really like appreciate what we got. And then it was like, yes, there are moves that still need to be made, but what are they good? How do we reach them now? That's where I'm at, because it's like, it was a little before it's like you said, before we got our hands tied behind our backs.
We could make moves. Yes, now we're between a rock and a hard place, and teams know that, and they're going to come after next year's pick. They're going to come after a lot of our assets that we were hoping to keep for flexibility. Like, it's one of those things, Luke. Do we then just, I don't know. You never want to throw or tank a season, but like what happens if we're not good and things don't go well and we dig a big hole early and then we get 2 lottery picks next year? Maybe you get a Boozer and somebody else, right? That's worst case scenario. But I think we're gonna have to do something at this point. We're gonna have to find somebody on the cheap because again, we're on a roster crunch. Tarek Biberovic is coming over. It's likely going to be like a 2-way-ish type or like a last man type, league minimum type situation for him. But even then, we're going to have to do a 2-for-1 or a 1-for-0 type trade where you create roster spots. Because currently we have 16 contracts. You can only carry 15 into the season. And so we know Cole Anthony's going to get waived. Maybe he could be flipped into somebody, but I'm a little less optimistic about what we're going to be able to do now because of the injury.
Same. I do want to, Wayno, this is a good point. Let's let ZK do his thing because so far this year he has been aces. Like he's really been putting the rubber to the road this season. So I'm totally down with let's see what he does. I mean, Goga Badatsi is if he can go get him, that's a good option. I mean, it's like you said, we don't.
And Dotson's in a lot of circles, right? Like he knows if we're chasing something big, there's probably something to that. I'm going to be patient and see. I'm not ready to tank. Don't come at me. Don't clip that Kenny and put that out there. That's not where I'm at. But I think there are moves to be made. It's just going to look a little bit different. And maybe this makes Kleiman be, like Wayno said, a bit more aggressive with the magic up his sleeve and force the issue with, going after somebody of the caliber of a Jared Allen. Go get maybe a Walker Kessler. Our trade with Portland will not be finalized until July 6th. Maybe there's a way to pry a big away from Portland in there because that trade can still happen in draft night. It doesn't go into effect until July 6th. Maybe there's some expansion there to get a big, whether that's from Portland or tying in another team. We'll see.
Portland, how many bigs do they have?
Only 1 or 2 are good, but they got a bunch of them.
That's a good point too, Rusty. That July 6th or 5th, 6th, that date is important because there are a lot of moving pieces that can still change up until that date involving these trades, these contracts, whatever. Still moves on the horizon for the Grizzlies, I imagine. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there was a lot that happened yesterday, which was, chief among them, the Miles Turner thing. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about the other moves that happened on day 2, right after this break.
Looking for an alternative to alcohol or conventional medicine? Check out Ounce of Hope, a Memphis-based dispensary. With 2 local stores in the Sanderland Center and on South Cooper Street, you can get all the products you need in a location convenient to you. Each store offers an intentional shopping experience with dedicated bud tenders to answer all of your questions, from product selection and mushroom blends to our personal favorite, the Delta 9 seltzers. You gotta try the Peach Buzz. Try Ounce of Hope at either one of their 2 Memphis stores or at www.ounceofhope.com for convenient products shipped right to your door. Use the promo code BluffCity for 15% off any order, excluding sale items. Cannot be used in conjunction with other promotions or discounts. One use per customer.
At what point of your long time spending with Cedric did you realize you were coaching Michael Jordan? When did you realize? When did you realize you were coaching Michael Jordan?
Hey, he came into practice about a year and a half ago, and he had shaved his head completely, and the whole team was calling him Michael Jordan for about a week.
Really?
So you're not the first one right there. When I found out it was Memphis, I was so happy because he fits that personality. He's not high maintenance. He's all about hoops. It doesn't matter what ball we're playing with, what gym we're in. Let's go do this. Let's go compete. And so I think kind of that mindset that Jalen, I'm assuming, probably brought to Memphis, where he's going to be grateful and he doesn't need much. He's going to go compete and just be a dog from the jump.
Check out the Anthony Sane Show live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. only on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
And we are back. Ounce of Hope, Trilogy Tattoo. Check them out. They're great. Local Memphis people. They're awesome. A lot of teams might need an ounce of hope right now. Also, Anthony Sane was in there. He's today at 2. Yeah, for real. This they do. $2 is today at 11.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to memorize the schedule one of these days. Kendrick got a dream. I see, Edward. It reminds me of that song, too. I digress. Let's talk about some more moves that happened that weren't the Grizzlies, because there was a lot that, well, first and foremost, the Miles Turner news is to me, that was the biggest move that happened yesterday. After like a decade of being in trade rumors and then being in the finals, I assumed that he was there to stay. Then all of a sudden he signs a 4-year, $107 million contract with the Bucks, who are waiving Damian Lillard.
That's wild.
Kind of pretty wild. Oh, you're muted, Uncle Buck. I thought it was just a really long sigh. I was like, oh,
It just had the Sprite.
That's it.
And that the commercial that you used to, whatever. I was stunned to see the Miles Turner news, and I hate it for Pacers fans.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, we were at the top of the mountain. If we don't blow an Achilles, our best player doesn't blow out his Achilles in the first quarter of Game 7 of the NBA Finals, what does our life look like? But instead, here we are letting Miles Turner walk. And what do we have next season? No, a season that's going to star Benedict Mathurin. Like,
Obi
that's
Top.
fun, but Halliburton was one of those guys that made everybody else better. And so, I don't know. It's just blow after blow for the Indiana fans. I feel bad for them. Almost as bad as I feel for Bucks fans, I think, because, now I think it's just a matter of time till they trade Giannis. And they're trying their hardest to make this work around Giannis. And, like, oh, well, Dame's out. We've got to do something immediately. And so they take the Miles Turner, sign the Miles Turner deal, but have to waive and stretch Dame just to make the money work and get a team around Giannis. They can play this year. It's just an extremely short-sighted contract to be signed and position to be in. But at this point, you have to do something to make Giannis have a team that's competitive around him, or he's just going to ask out. So you're kind of hamstrung, and Giannis isn't going to like it one way or the other, it seems. So,
let's look at the Bucks starters now. It's Giannis, Kuzma, Turner, Porter Jr., and Gary Trent Jr. Is that it?
Yeah, I saw that the Bucks now have 2/3 of the NBA's Garys. The only one they don't have is Gary Payton Jr., Golden State, and they now have more starters named Gary than anybody else. Gary Harris from Orlando. It's a weird starting lineup, man. And what's really crazy is now Indiana doesn't have that big man, but they're also up against the cap. And so it's not like they have a lot of room that they can move. But the Bucks are willing to take on $22.5 million of dead money in Dame's contract over the next 5 years so that they can basically pay him to not play basketball. It's like Coach O said, listen, man, like just what time you want me gone and which door you want me out. If listen, my previous employer, if you're listening, I'll take $25 million to not be a PT anymore. Gladly. Right. But now essentially they're paying
not nearly that good.
Not nearly that good. I didn't negotiate very well. But like you've got a team now that's essentially they paid $222 million total for Miles Turner. And they offered him like 4 years, $113 million. He had a 3-year, $75 million deal on the table for Indiana. So Milwaukee gave him one more year, which turns into one more like a $26 million a year contract, but that extra year is what persuaded him. I don't know, man. Like Miles Turner, to me, it's been great. Did look good in the playoffs, but that's just an awful steep price for some help in the post.
Yeah, and the fact these two teams don't like each other. Like if I'm these, I just don't. If I'm Pacers fans, I'm furious. If I'm Bucks fans, I'm furious. It's sucks.
Yeah.
And we talk about Robert Pera as an owner. This Pacers ownership group, I don't think they ever go into luxury tax. They had a chance to have a really good team and go into the tax, and they punted on it because Howley was hurt, and that sucks. It's just really, I would be so frustrated.
It just makes the East that much more wide open because I don't know that the Milwaukee's going to be that much better next year, especially if Giannis does ask out this summer at some point, which feels like that's kind of inevitable. But like Indiana's not going to be great. Milwaukee's not going to be great. I don't know what the hell Toronto's doing. They're just paying it. Like they're paying Jakob Poeltl like he's a top 5 big in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, their role is just stupid what they're paying people. But then it's going to leave the door open for the Orlandos. And I love what Detroit did. They added more shooting and they added more depth. And yeah, they lost Malik Beasley to the FBI. The Alphabet Boys got him, and Tim Hardaway Jr. went to the Nuggets, but they're still going to be good next year. And so the East is wide open next year for some teams on the fringe. And that's why you see Atlanta putting all their chips in and like hedging all on next year because the door is wide open.
Yeah. Man, I'm glad you brought up the Raptors because I have no idea what Poeltl got a 4-year, $100-something million.
Well, don't forget that the day after the second round of the draft, Cy Majiri quit.
They don't have a GM. They're just
they are navigating free agency without a GM. I don't know
They're
if they've
just winging
named
it.
one.
Oh,
I don't know
man.
if they've named one yet. Like all their in-house, staffers below Masai stayed on. So I don't know if they elevated one of them or if they're just like, just in a room, like just deciding together, But
what's the name of that movie where that kid takes over ownership, Little Big League, where he owns the Twins or whatever? Like that's what's happening. Somebody's kid is up there just like throwing money at everybody, just stupid money.
Very, very stupid money. I mean, we're talking about.
Hey, but it's Canada too. You've got to pay them more because they're going to take out a lot more taxes.
Oh, they're gonna tax the hell out of them.
Oh man.
Can we also really quickly talk about the Nuggets though? Because the Nuggets went from having absolutely no depth to having one of the best free agencies that we've seen in a long time. Adding Cam Johnson, adding Tim Hardaway Jr., getting Bruce Brown back down. It may be Cowboy Bruce, but like he's back. You got Jonas backing up Jokic, and like Jokic makes everybody around him better. But what's going to happen with Cam Johnson's already awesome, and you add him to Nikola Jokic, who's going to make him better. Like they've lost Russell Westbrook, which is probably going to make him a bit better as well. But like I don't know that it's like the low key secret or whatever, but Denver has had a week flipping that basketball team.
Yeah, I've liked what Denver's done. They went from having they had no guys that they could play in the playoffs, or they had 5, 6, and they've added 4 guys that can actually have minutes in the playoffs, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they've also got young guys that you hope that can step up, with Julian Strother and and those guys. But yeah, you're trying to run it back with Bruce Brown, and you hope that he's back to what he was before he left. And Cam Johnson is just going to be amazing catching open threes. Like he's what they want Michael Porter Jr. to be, but he's not a good basketball player. That's his problem. Like, oh, he's 6'10", he can shoot and he's athletic, but the problem is like he just sucks.
Yeah, and I saw some interviews were floating around yesterday on Twitter that were comparing Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Johnson, and Michael Porter Jr. operates with about 1 gigabyte or 1 little thing of RAM, whereas Cam Johnson is like a supercomputer comparatively, because when Michael Porter Jr. speaks, it's very slow and doesn't.
He could have some allegations as well.
Sense. Yeah, but then you got Cam Johnson. They were asking about shooting, and he's talking about making sure your body's in a good position to turn towards the hoop and all the physics of it, and just they're night and day. Cam Johnson is a very cerebral player, and the problem is so is Nikola Jokic, and so those two guys are going to be a lethal force in the West. You get 2 smart players who are really good at Nikola Jokic is really good at seeing the floor, and Cam Johnson is really good at knocking down open threes, and that's going to be a scary combination for teams in the West.
Michael Porter Jr. and Scotty Barnes ride the same vehicle to the
Damn. Oh man, we're not going to talk about. Before we leave, where's Dame sign? Does Dame go and sign anywhere?
Miami seems the obvious, but apparently Golden State has some pretty strong interest in bringing him out there as well. From what I read this morning, Keith Stewart said that it was the pretty high interest from Golden State.
His family's still in the Pacific Northwest, and so the only way you can get into that area without going back to Portland is to go to, Sacramento or Golden State. He's not going to Sacramento, so that makes some sense.
Heat, Celtics, Warriors, Lakers have expressed interest in signing Damian Lillard, is what the article was.
He is. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine. Somebody offer me $1 million a year to do nothing.
Oh man.
And then to think like, I'm gonna go find me another job. Like, no, brother, you only be close to your family. How about you go spend 24 hours a day with them? Like, take them to the beach, take them to Europe, take them to the moon. You got the money, honey.
Oh, I love it. That's what I would do. But we're not. I mean, whatever. We're not Dame.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have.
Maybe that's the reason.
No, you give me Jimbo Fisher money, and y'all will never see me again. I'll be playing golf in the Caribbean and just eating and getting fat and sassy, eating breads and desserts, getting fat and sassy.
Yep. Any anonymous donors out there, just give us a call. We are ready.
I'm just trying. That's what my next job is going to be, a college football coach. I'm going to sign a big contract. I'll be terrible at it. I'm going to get canned, and then I'm good. Then you've got generational funding money. So
that's the dream right there. That is the dream. That's going to do it for our show today, y'all. Thank you guys for watching. $2 Sports Show today, Anthony Sane Show today. Check them both out. We will be back tomorrow. Hopefully there's some more news happening today. Hopefully no one else gets hurt. Knock on wood. Sorry guys. We will be back tomorrow. Everybody have a good day today. If we can leave you with anything, remember these two things. Remember to be a little weird like Uncle Buck, and remember to smile. Bye guys. Have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow.